As you were watching this, it's about 9 o'clock Eastern, um, June 19th, which, if you don't know, is the date that Desmond Amofa died. I don't know the exact time of death, but this is when he posted that video called I'm Sorry. A lot of people today have been talking about their experience with Desmond, kind of the way that they met him and kind of knew him. I never got the chance to meet Desmond. I really wish I did, but I just couldn't. You know, I don't have a passport, or I didn't at the time, but there were a lot of really confusing things for me when it came to people, especially creators, because I really, really wanted to get into doing YouTube and everything, and so I started to try and contact people, and Etika was one of them. And the response that I got from Desmond was amazing. I started playing Splatoon with him, not very often or anything, only for a little bit, but it really did change my life. To watch his streams, to see everything he's done for me and for other people. What happened for me that was really crazy was probably when I first kind of found out about how big he was. I think it was around 2016 when I actually it was it would have been early 2016 when I saw his Mewtwo reaction. That was really crazy. It was really, really crazy getting to know him and see him. But anyway, this isn't about that. You've heard far, far too much about how much he means to me. If you've really been watching the channel, you know. But what I wanted this video to be about is this is year one. So there have been a lot of really, really cool things that have happened this year that I have to thank so many people. I'd like to thank Double A for making the mural. I'd like to thank everyone that finally got that now is a Pokestop. Now the Etika mural, which looks beautiful, by the way. It's gorgeous, and I hope one day that I get to see it if it's still up. I'd like to thank everybody that made a video on him. I'd really like to thank Gabe specifically for sharing his feelings, because I think that also really helped me. Thank you to E for recently. Today, actually, he made a video on Dez, and that was awesome. I'd like to thank Triforce for making his video on how they were roommates for a bit, and about how he feels about Dez and how he feels how people treated Dez, and that made me learn a lot more about him too. And I obviously looked into that. I didn't just take every single word he said, even though I do trust him. It's sometimes it's information gets misconstrued. There were a lot of people that made really, really cool songs. There's this I'll put a link to a bunch of stuff, but there is a Pokemon song that was made that's really, really good that I've shared in the Discord before. There was the poem that was posted today that was really amazing. And those are like the two big ones that I've really seen. There's more, but like those are the ones that I really, really like. And then God, his birthday, May 12th. That was big for me. Etika 30 was a big trend that day, which made me really, really happy. Thank you so much to Riderspace for staying really involved in the Joy-Con Boys community. I mean, he always was, and he had Etikons too, which are really cool. Actually, I want to show those off. Yeah, so Captain Alex made a charity to get these going. Basically, he wanted to make the Etikons charity, but that kind of flopped initially, and then he ended up selling them on Etsy, and They did great. They're amazing, and about 17% of the sales all goes to a suicide prevention charity in Desmond's name, which is great. And these are really high quality, and I love them, and they're the only customs that I will ever buy, and I still use them. And actually, these were on old Splatoon Joy-Con, so I actually still kept the middle piece so you can see them. And it's kind of a little personal thing from me. So there you go. That's it. But yeah, I also made this symbol. I had this idea for a while when he died. People on the 25th, when people started figuring it out, they started posting pictures of this of like their Joy-Cons together like this in like a heart. And so I really wanted to make like a proper symbol of that, of like the Joy-Con heart. And so I did. And it looks great, and I really love it. Yeah, he impacted my life so much, and so much has changed since he died that it's crazy. You know, like my growth has definitely been a lot better. And I don't mean like my channel, I mean my kind of grieving process. I think it peaked at around like 3 months later. I was doing a lot better. But I found recently that it just got worse. Like getting closer to his birthday and the 1 year mark, I really started to dip. It is really hard. And I mean that. I say every day I think about him, and it's not that I'm lying or anything. And I've had people come to me and it's like, oh, you're trying to use Desmond for clout. And it's like, no, I'm not. And even if I did, it's not working. It's not like, you know, like, why? Why would I do that? It's stupid. Yeah. I don't know. People like to try and say that he was some sort of pseudo cult leader and all these things. Is like, why is he using these like phrases and getting kids to like repeat shit? And that was just who he was. He wasn't like, he didn't have some sort of motive. You know, people, I don't know, people try and misconstrue every little thing he did. And it's so toxic. And I remember the kind of backlash people were having when they were like, oh my God, this guy wasn't lying. This guy wasn't lying, you know? And it's crazy because like everyone was like, no, he's doing this for attention. It's nuts. And even Keemstar did the exact same thing, and it was terrible. It looked awful, it sounded awful, and he felt awful, especially because of the interview that he did. I don't even know if that video is still public, but I remember watching it and I remember thinking, God, Desmond's going nuts. And he was going nuts, but it wasn't because he was crazy. It's because he was going crazy. People started calling him insane before he was insane. And eventually, after people started pushing him away and he had very little friends and started acting weird, the internet truly did put him on that downward spiral. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people understand, is it's like, and I want to say this because this is my genuine belief. I do think it is our fault. And I don't think that like it's any one person's fault in particular, but I definitely think the general voice of his chat was massively toxic. And whenever he tried to come back and do something normal, it wasn't met with a healthy response of, awesome, you can do this. Like, I remember there was this tweet he made where it's like, back for your regularly scheduled programming, and he had like Etika as a symbol and like everything, and it was great, and everyone was like, yeah, right. You know, and that I can't even imagine it being so toxic where like he tried so hard to get back to where he was, and people kept pushing him away, not even realizing, because they all think, well, you know, this will help. It's like he needs to realize what he did. You think he didn't realize? You think he didn't realize how he was being treated, how he treated people? The inner turmoil that you must experience going through something like that is crazy. Stuff that I just couldn't imagine. And like, it was really hard for me at first because I remember going through my whole journey through mental health and then thinking like, how could my hero not do the same? I didn't have hundreds of thousands of people, breathing down my neck constantly. And recently this year, getting into doing YouTube and getting into streaming, having people actually start to hate on me, and on a small scale, on a very small scale, like not even 1,000, it is crazy how people act. I don't understand it. I don't understand how just because you think you're anonymous, you can say whatever the hell you want, or even if you have your name, just because it's the internet, you think that you can just shit on someone for nothing. And when someone puts work into something, you just immediately trash them and say that they're being cheap and easy, and that this is the way that things should be done, and that I think you're a waste of time. And it is crazy, the fact that people think that that's okay. It is nuts. People don't go onto the internet and assume the best of people. They go onto the internet and they assume the worst. It is completely insane. And that's why I think it happened. I had nightmares and just dreams constantly about me being there and trying to save him, and just seeing him fall and fall again and again. And it's sickening, man. It's crazy because it's so infuriating that, like, some of the people that I care most about are nowhere close to me. And it's terrible. It's terrible. This person that impacted so much of my life in the way my career is going, and all of that, who probably, if he was still alive, wouldn't even remember my name, which I'm fine with. I just wish I could have helped and not be a part of that generalization of people that did that. And it's because we didn't try and stop ourselves. People were bandwagoning onto he's insane, he's a clown. Now it's gone and done and over. But thankfully, there are projects that keep up his merch. There's archives. I'mSalt did an amazing tribute to him on his birthday. That was amazing. And there is Twitter accounts dedicated to him, several of them. There's Etika Memories, there's Etika Pride. And I have talked to some of those guys before. Not much or anything, and not on public accounts, but I should probably talk to them on public accounts, because I don't know. But yeah, they're a great resource, like, genuinely. And I'm really thankful for that too, because I think it helped me personally, because it's really hard when to try to talk to someone who didn't know him or whatever about how important he was. They have no idea, right? So it's like, for me, it's been really hard trying to talk to people about, oh, there's this person that lives in another country that I've never met in person who had this big impact in my life. And it's like, trying to explain that to another person is so hard for me. Because I remember people looking at me like, I don't understand that. Well, that has nothing to do with you, doesn't it? Doesn't it have nothing to do with you? And I guess you're right to a certain extent. But I remember waking up and thinking, man, when's the next stream? I wonder what he's going to do next. God, I can't wait for him to finish this, for him to do that, for him to do this challenge. I can't wait until I see this person drop another donation and go crazy, or to see another donation war, or, like, to see another IRL video, to see another stream with the rest of his friends. Like, man, it was so cool. So cool to see him at Gabe's place. I absolutely loved that. Or when they were at E's studio and all doing that right before the party and everything. And it was so fun. It's just so fun. He's such a good guy and such a fun, loving character. And there's no one like him to have that bustling personality. And the way that people describe it is that when he walked into the room, he wasn't just paying attention to one person. He wasn't talking to a crowd. He was talking to you and everyone at the same time. And it's amazing. He made everyone feel welcome. He made everyone feel at home and feel like a person and not just a fan. And I think that's why people stick to him so well. It's been 1 year one crazy year. Yeah. Alright, that's it for my video. I just needed to ramble. I needed to get this out. Year 2 will be a lot more well-centered. Thank you, and goodbye.